Aikido is a modern synthesis of many traditional Japanese martial arts. Its founder, Morihei Ueshiba O-sensei, studied several weapon systems, including some that focused on the samurai sword, and incorporated the lessons of these systems into the art he created. Mitsugi Saotome Sensei is a direct student of O-sensei. The details of Saotome Sensei's life can be found on such ATM videos as The Principles of Aikido, The Sword of Aikido, The Staff of Aikido, and Takemusu Aiki.
Honestly speaking, I never studied some kind of school to solve. Right? And all this information, one time, also watching Musashi movie, TV show, right? This is a private time. Sensei look at me, you are interested in this kind of thing, And Sensei is showing kind of white fan, Sensei show this one, Not a big demonstration, just to go tea room is conversation, Sensei go this. This is Aikido, So this is I look at, oh yes, this is common sense, very, very interesting. So myself organizing this style of kata, but not only so. This is from Aikido training, bare hands, Two sword is not only Musashi. This is have all the Chinese, also I think Western fencing, short knife, long sword, the hard, not two swords. Not only Japanese ideas. This is most international. The process. I think you must study one sword technique, practice, and coming to sword, because more fundamental development to one sword, two swords too much the beginners. And the weapon training is this is my opinion. This thing, my idea. So. Doesn't matter how body size is. Sometimes big, already strong, But sometimes people, the physical level, very not fair, not fair. Everybody different size, But if you're grabbing weapon, this is equalizing more than a bare hand. So the more people learning, the more martial awareness.
Saotome Sensei here demonstrates the basic stances, or kamae, of his two-sword system, moving from one to another. In these kamae, Saotome Sensei bends his knees and lowers himself into a horse-riding stance. Posture is important. The stances are upright and confident, not overly defensive or aggressive. Relaxation is also important. The stances are centered and natural. Saotome Sensei here assumes a stance basic to his two-sword system. The tips of the swords point to an opponent's eyes. The swords are almost level, and Sensei's shoulders are relaxed, not pulled up or rolled forward. If the angle that the swords make with one another is too small, the stance will be weak. The feeling should be that of enclosing space, of creating a circuit of energy through the swords, with a gesture resembling Aikido's Kokyo-ho movement. Here, one sword points towards an opponent's eye, as in the last position, while the other is lifted beside the head, in what would be called hasso in a one-sword system. This kamae is much like the last, except that the rear sword points forward from Saotome Sensei's hip. In this side stance, waki kamae, one sword wraps around Saotome Sensei's body and points behind him. Juji means cross. In Juji position, the swords meet at right angles. One common mistake is to make the angles too small, weakening the block.
This is not good. Bad example. The other side.
Another is to make the angle too large, enabling an opponent to push through. When Juji position is used to block, the whole body should move forward together as a unit. The shoulders should be directly above the hip, and the torso should not lean either forward or backward. Saotome Sensei here demonstrates some patterns that begin with Juji position. When the initial attacker's strike is blocked high, he thrusts low. Saotome Sensei responds with a Juji block, downward and slightly off to the side. Rising to strike again, the attacker separates Saotome Sensei's swords, and the pattern continues from there. Saotome Sensei here demonstrates two sword responses to a yokomen, or side head, attack. Here are some two-sword responses to a ski or thrust.